Imagine it's January 1st, 2026. You wake up. You check your bank account. There's no investment portfolio waiting for you. No real estate. No stocks quietly compounding in the background. Maybe you've got a small emergency savings. Maybe you've got a bit of debt. You have a job, it pays the bills, but it doesn't build a future. Meanwhile, the news is loud. Interest rates are higher for longer. Artificial intelligence is replacing workers. Housing prices feel unreachable. And this is where most people mentally tap out. They assume the system is unfair. They assume they missed their window. They assume wealth is reserved for people who started a decade ago. So they sit still. But if I woke up in 2026 with absolutely nothing, knowing what I know about money, behavior, and long-term math, I wouldn't freeze. I'd see opportunity. Not because 2026 is magical, but because starting from zero gives you clarity. And clarity is powerful. What I'm about to lay out is not a fast money blueprint. It's not about flipping crypto or chasing hype. This is the predictable path to your first $100,000 and eventually your first million, and it works in any economic environment. We're going to walk through 4 stages: stabilize, protect, multiply, accelerate. No gimmicks, no secret software. Just math and behavior. Let's begin where most people don't want to look. Stage 1. Stabilize. If you are carrying high-interest debt, you are not at zero. You are underwater. It doesn't matter how excited you are about investing. It doesn't matter how bullish you feel about the market. If your credit card charges 22% interest, that is your emergency. Imagine trying to run a marathon while dragging a tire behind you. That's investing with high-interest debt. There's a dangerous belief that you can invest your way out of bad debt, that somehow you'll earn 10% in the market while paying 24% to a bank and it'll all balance out. It won't. Interest doesn't negotiate. Paying off a 24% debt is the equivalent of earning 24% guaranteed. No stock gives you that certainty. So in the beginning, you are not an investor. You are a cleaner. You clean up every high-interest balance. List all debts by interest rate, not balance size. Attack the highest rate first. Make minimum payments on the rest. This is mathematical warfare. Cut expenses temporarily. Sell unused items. Redirect bonuses or tax refunds. Not forever, just until the drag is gone. But here's the deeper reason this matters. Debt doesn't just cost money, it costs courage. When you owe money, you hesitate, you avoid risks, you cling to safe but stagnant jobs. Freedom begins when you remove financial pressure. Stage 1 is not glamorous, but it unlocks everything else. Now comes stage 2. Protect. Let's say your debt is gone. You feel momentum. You want to invest immediately. This is where people sabotage themselves. Because life does not wait for your financial plan. Your car breaks down. A medical expense appears. Your company downsizes. If your money is fully invested and the market happens to be down, you are forced to sell at the worst possible moment. And that is how compounding dies. So before you chase growth, you build insulation. 3 months of essential expenses, not lifestyle expenses, not vacation money, bare minimum survival costs. Rent, utilities, food, transportation. Multiply by 3. That number becomes your stability fund. Park it somewhere safe and liquid. It will feel slow. It will feel boring. You won't see dramatic growth. That's the point. This money is not meant to grow fast. It is meant to prevent panic. Think of it this way. The investor who never has to sell during a downturn has an enormous advantage. Markets fall regularly. Corrections are normal. If you're prepared, downturns become temporary paper losses instead of permanent damage. Cash early on is not laziness. It's shock absorption. And psychologically, this changes you. You negotiate differently when you're not desperate. You think clearly when you're not anxious. Protection creates patience. Now we move to stage 3, multiply. Debt gone, cash buffer ready, monthly surplus available. Now we invest. And here's where discipline matters most. When your portfolio is small, your biggest risk is not underperformance. It's self-destruction, chasing trends, overtrading, trying to outsmart professionals. The truth is simple. Consistently beating the market is incredibly rare. You do not need to be extraordinary to build wealth. You need to be consistent. Instead of trying to find the next superstar stock, buy the entire market. Broad, low-cost index funds. When you own the whole market, you eliminate guesswork. You participate in overall economic growth. Historically, long-term market returns average around 8 to 10% annually before inflation. That doesn't sound exciting, but over decades, it's transformative. Here's the psychological challenge. Index investing is boring. There are no dramatic headlines about your portfolio, no rush of excitement, but boring is powerful. Excitement often leads to mistakes. So here's a structure that protects your discipline. Put roughly 90% of your investment money into broad index funds. Automate it, ignore it. Then, and only then, allow up to 10% for higher risk ideas if you must. Individual stocks, speculation, experiments. That small allocation satisfies curiosity without jeopardizing your future. The goal is not to hit home runs, it's to avoid striking out. But there's another silent force that quietly erodes wealth: taxes. Stage 4. Accelerate through structure. Where your money is invested matters. Taxable accounts are flexible, but they leak value over time. Dividends are taxed, capital gains are taxed. Over decades, that friction adds up significantly. So instead of randomly investing, follow an order. If your employer offers a retirement plan with matching contributions, contribute enough to receive the full match. That is immediate return. Then fund a tax-advantaged retirement account, like a Roth IRA if eligible. Growth inside these accounts can compound without annual tax drag. If you qualify for a health savings account, that can also provide powerful tax benefits. Only after these tax-advantaged options are maximized should you use a regular brokerage account. This is not about complexity, it's about efficiency. Two investors earning exactly the same returns can end up with dramatically different outcomes depending on tax strategy. Structure amplifies growth. But there's one more lever, and it is the most powerful: income. You can only cut expenses so much. You can only optimize taxes so far. But income has no ceiling. Instead of obsessing over saving small amounts, focus on increasing your earning power. This is where most people choose comfort over growth. Driving extra hours for small cash boosts feels productive, but upgrading a high-value skill can permanently elevate your income. Learn something rare, something valuable: communication, sales, technical skills, management, data literacy. Dedicate 1 hour per day to improvement. 6 months from now, you're more valuable in the market. A raise of $15,000 annually compounds far more powerfully than trimming minor expenses. Income growth accelerates every other step. Higher income means larger investments. Larger investments mean faster compounding. Compounding plus discipline equals freedom. So, if I start 2026 from zero, this is my roadmap. First, eliminate high-interest debt. Second, build a 3-month safety buffer. Third, automate investments into broad index funds. Fourth, use tax-advantaged accounts strategically. Fifth, aggressively increase earning power. No hacks, no hype, no shortcuts. Just stacking stable decisions repeatedly. Wealth is rarely built in dramatic bursts. It's built quietly, consistently, almost invisibly. If you follow this system for 5 to 10 years, your financial life looks completely different. Not because of luck, but because of structure. The truth is simple. Most people fail not because they lack intelligence. They fail because they lack a framework. Now you have one. If this helped you clarify your thinking, subscribe. I aim to give you real, long-term return on your attention. And if you're starting from zero in 2026, remember this: zero is not a disadvantage. Zero is a clean foundation. Build carefully.